what time it is, because The View starts now. More Bad Blood. The new single from Katy Perry and Nicki Minaj that could be throwing major shade at Taylor Swift. Biden 2020? Why the former Veep says it could happen, and his surprising statements about Hillary. That's not right. Robin Wright opens up about being lied to about getting the same paycheck as her co-star Kevin Spacey. And Emmy winner Jeffrey Tambor shares his favorite behind-the-scenes moments of 5 decades on TV from his hilarious and heartwarming new memoir. The party starts now with Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Paula Ferris. And it's Guy Day Friday with Shark Tank's Mark Cuban. Now, let's get things started.
It's Guy Day Friday, and joining us today is a billionaire, and a reality competition show judge, which are the only 2 qualifications to be president these days.
I mean, you're already
welcome.
You're hired.
Please welcome Mark Cuban.
By the way, Joy, I don't know if everyone noticed, but he waited for all the ladies to sit down before he sat down.
He's a gentleman, yes.
He's a gentleman. It's very
Which just
chivalrous.
set him above the bar we had before.
Which was Trump.
Very
yeah,
chivalrous.
I know. I mentioned that you're a billionaire.
Yeah, you can say that again. I like it.
He's buying lunch. He already knows.
But you seem to be an actual real billionaire. I don't know. Do you think Trump is a real billionaire?
Yeah, I have the billion. He has the air.
Bam! I've always questioned how much money he really has. We haven't seen his taxes.
Yeah, why doesn't he show his taxes?
Because there's nothing to show. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't show his taxes. I mean,
yes.
Look, you know, he's probably, it'll be close, right? Look, the guy's made money, but that doesn't qualify.
This is what we want to know. Is he hiding the fact that he doesn't have the money, really? Or is he hiding the fact that he did business with the Russians?
I think both.
I think one seems more wrong to him, which is he'd be more embarrassed by his ego, I think, than what he doesn't see as wrong anyway.
No question. Yeah,
or the lack of charity as well, because he said he's been very
He doesn't care about that.
By the way, how do I lower my chair? I'm so distracted by. Oh, here it is. Thank you. I've been trying to lower it for like 3 minutes.
Okay, so Mark, your name has actually been tossed around as a potential presidential candidate. I mean, let's make some news here. Are you into it?
Definitely. No. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Well, wait, I do have a message from Mr. President about that. There was a time where he tweeted you. I remember reading this when it happened, and it made me laugh so hard. So typical. I know Mark Cuban well. He backed me big time, but I wasn't interested in taking all of his calls. He's not smart enough to run for president.
You know, there's nothing more surreal. No, wait, there's nothing more surreal. You know, I wake up in the morning, kiss the wife, laying there in bed, pick up my phone, and I see an alert. Oh, the president tweeted about me. I mean, it's like, and then the hard part wasn't what he said, because he's an idiot. I don't care what he says, right? But the hard part, I got thick skin, he doesn't. But the hard part was, how do I respond, right? So literally,
so many things.
Yeah, so literally for the next hour, and I ended up with just, you know what, LOL.
LOL. You gotta speak the language. So you're not going to be announcing your bid for 2020 here on The View?
Not today.
Maybe later in the show.
I mean, basically, you can have even more competition, because Joe Biden sounds like he's leaving the door open to run, too. He also admitted another thing about Joe Biden, who's 74.
He would be 78 in
2020. In 2020?
Yes, in 2020.
And so let's talk about that for a second.
Maybe he's
what do you think about that? Well, you know, I have some age things here. I mean, Ruth Bader, what's her name?
Ginsburg
is 84.
But she just sits.
Yeah.
Well, so does Donald. When does he move? John
to get the chocolate
McCain.
cake,
John
to get the
McCain is
cheeseburger.
80. He's still
going,
pretty
yeah.
vibrant.
McCain's 80.
McCain, yeah, he's 80.
Incredible.
Well.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Bernie Sanders is 75
Joe
or so.
Biden would be great.
Yeah.
You know, he goes down the middle. He can deal with Republicans. He can deal with Democrats. That's his greatest strength.
Yeah.
But age matters, right? And there's a lot of expectations. And so whether or not he's got it in him to really fight through the next those 4 years, because who knows where he's going to be in 4 years from now.
And I think there's a lot of buyer's remorse too for so many people, and now hindsight's always 20/20 because he probably knows had he gone up against Donald Trump, and he's hearing that every day, he could have won because he does have a way of just really, he's got this magnetic personality. You're drawn to him, whether or not you agree with his policy.
But he also has experience, right?
He's
I mean,
got
what happened to experience? I mean, when I heard that The Rock is like thinking about running for president.
Wait, The Rock Johnson.
Wait. Do not
interviewed
knock
him.
The Rock. Yes,
I love The
he's
Rock.
Don't knock The Rock.
Don't
Yeah.
knock The Rock. I mean, he is seriously considering this in 2020. He says he has a skill set that people are looking for. He's able
Which is
to
what?
really.
He's going to be in
He's
Baywatch.
able to galvanize people, or he'll kill you if you don't vote for him. He'll get you in the ring, and he'll kill you.
First of all, I commend anyone that speaks that they want to be the president, because we speak here all the time, about it's our job to participate, whether it's on the grassroots level or not. So if someone wants to risk
Absolutely.
this and go out, considering what we have
It's
now,
not an easy decision to
bravo.
make.
I'd rather have people
City
participate
council.
than not.
I mean, talking about experience, like you own the Dallas Mavericks, right? I mean, I'm a lawyer. I like
Yes,
basketball.
we know that.
Right?
She's a
I
lawyer.
like
Remember Star
basketball.
Jones? Star Jones, I'm a lawyer. Remember that?
She's a former prosecutor.
In terms of my qualifications, I'm a lawyer. I like basketball.
But it's
Can
a
I
job-
can I run the Mavericks for you?
But it's not the same thing, right? No one's ever totally qualified to be the president.
No.
So what it takes are leadership skills so that you know what you don't know.
But isn't it a more
Yeah, and know
important
enough
job
to
than
put a
running
smart
the
people
Dallas
around you.
Mavericks?
One at a time.
No, it's totally different, right? Because, look, you're never going to know everything to be the president. So you have to be smart enough to say, here's where my strengths are. Here's what I don't know. Let me go out and find the best people to do that.
Yep.
Right? And then listen to those people.
Yeah.
Look, you can make an argument that Donald Trump has hired some good people around him. Maybe some you don't look, but he's put some good people around.
Okay.
But he never listens. Right? And if you're not willing to listen, if you're not willing to learn, because the entire job, the only certainty of the job of president is the uncertainty. You don't know what's
But
next.
would you hire someone with no experience in basketball to run your organization?
Everybody's always a rookie when they first step on the court for the first time. When you walked out and you prosecuted a case, or in trial, you have to do it for the first time. And the question is, what are your skills when you walk in, and how willing are you to learn? And that's what's missing
But you
right
haven't
now.
answered the question.
All right.
Would you hire someone like me to run your organization?
I bought the team with no experience, and yes, I would hire you if you were smart, if you had leadership skills, and you were willing to do the work.
Too bad you're not going to get hired.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say?
I'm not qualified.
No, she can do anything.
qualified.
Sonny can do everything.
I'll do ticket sales.
Now here's,
how about that?
So the problem with what you're saying, that he has some kind of ADD or something, right?
Or something.
He can't
Yeah.
pay attention.
He's oblivious to life. You cannot be, he has no self-awareness. He has no contextual awareness. He is oblivious to everything. He's not very smart. But other than that, he's a great president.
Do you ever watch him when he's got some kind of a foreign dignitary there, like Abbas from the Middle East, and yesterday he had the guy from Colombia there, and they're speaking, and he's thinking to himself, I got to go home and watch my stories. I wish they would hurry up here. He's like got something else he wants to do.
When you look at a transcription, that's the part that actually concerns me, all joking aside. You read what he says, and you cannot piece together his thought, what he's trying to say. He jumps around to different topics, and you look at it, and it actually, I've mentioned this before, has me concerned as there are illnesses, there are things that happen, and there's a point where he thinks he's making sense, but you can't understand.
Well, let me show you something, because today Trump heads out to the Middle East. God forbid.
Saudi Arabia.
What's going to happen there? And hopefully he's getting a crash course in how to pronounce world leaders' names, because it's long overdue. Watch this.
Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
President Erdogan. President Erdogan. President Erdogan.
Elie Wiesel.
Elie Wiesel.
Angela Merkel.
Angela Merkel.
Beyonce.
That Jay-Z said, or that Beyonce said.
Nazi.
The Nazis.
Tanzania.
Tanzania.
You try to say Mahmoud Ahmadinejad 3 times fast.
I know, it's
Yeah,
hard.
well, why would you, right? But that's not the point. He has at his disposal every resource of this country. All you got to do is ask. How do you spell?
Well, maybe
How do you get
the entire
Beyonce
country
wrong?
a ton.
How do you
That's
get
what I was gonna say.
Beyonce wrong?
Maybe some of those world leaders in Tanzania, maybe those aren't things that are on kind of his in his ether. But
Yes.
Beyonce?
The Queen Bee?
Yeah.
Come on.
What about Angela Merkel? Come on, everybody knows it's not Angela.
But I'm saying if you never venture out of the U and you don't read news, you don't do anything, Beyonce's in your face all the time.
All the
Beyonce?
time. It's lemonade.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
So Hot Topics on The View are only get transparent star Jeffrey Tambor talks about going back into Arrested Development.
Welcome back to the show. Okay, so the gender pay gap in Hollywood is back in the headlines, but actress Rose Byrne doesn't even want to talk about it. She says to ask the people in power about it. Now, Mark, you're a powerful person.
He's a billionaire.
Yes, we know.
With a B.
And you didn't know, but I've been nominated for movies I produced or executive produced, been nominated for 7 Academy Awards.
Really?
Have not, yeah.
Never won?
No, I haven't won
Still a
yet.
bridesmaid.
Nomination is a win.
So it's not enough to just be a billionaire. You even have to be that.
Right?
He gets
No.
bored. He has to keep doing stuff.
And he's running for president, everybody. Did we tell you that?
And I'll be serving sandwiches later.
So give us the audience. You know, during the commercial breaks, a lot of time people ask, how do you get to be, you know, a journalist? How do you get to be a lawyer? How do you get to be a comedian? What do you tell women about the pay gap?
Pay gap.
You got to
How
be
should-
aggressive, right? I mean, anybody who works for me, I kind of divide into 2 categories. Are you creating stress or are you reducing my stress? And if you're creating stress, then that's a separate problem. But if you're creating quality work for somebody, you have to be willing to walk in and say, I'm confident in my job. If you want to keep me, you're going to have to pay me more. And not gender equality, pay me what I'm worth. And if that's more than the man sitting next to me, so be it. But part of that, there's a part 2 to it,
Yeah.
right? You know, you've got to be willing to have them call your bluff, right? If you have to move, you might have to move to take a different job. And that's been a lot of the challenge, particularly now. You know, back in the day, people would relocate for new jobs because they'd get more money. Now people don't want to relocate as much.
Yeah.
And that's part of the challenge. So whether, you know, no matter who you are, when you walk in the door, you have to be willing to walk in, give a good case why you should pay me more. And if they don't, you've got to go to the next
You've
job.
got to be willing to walk
Okay.
away.
You've got to be able to go to the
But
next
so
job.
let's say I'm making $100,000 a year, and I come to you. That's what I was paid, and I say to you, I want $200,000.
Yeah.
Is that a legitimate request, or
No, I'm
should?
going to say, you know, I'll help you find your next job.
Okay, so let's say I'm making
Be
50.
realistic.
Let's say I'm
Be
more than
reasonable.
So let's
the
just say
point.
you're making 50
Let's
and
say
you
I'm
want to get
making
to 50.
30,000.
Right.
Okay, what should I ask for?
It just depends on the circumstances, right?
Right.
What you shouldn't do is think, well, this company's making so much money. If I ask to go to 30 to 40, right? You have to do your homework and say, okay, what are people around me making? Don't be afraid to talk to the people
how can
around
you
you.
say that
How do you find that out?
if
Because
You
they're
have to
lying?
ask.
Yeah.
You have to ask, right?
they
But
don't-
when you talk in a lunchroom, when you talk at the water cooler, ask, because everybody's in the exact same boat. Now, not everybody's going to tell you, but
But you don't know what to ask for a lot of times, and I feel like some of these companies, I know I've been in that situation where I was stepping into the same shoes that my successor was a
Right.
male, and they offered me 30 to 40% less.
Yes, yeah.
well,
And I
okay.
walked away.
And that's what you
Well,
have
then
to
you
do.
should have.
And-
That's
and
I
right.
know, but it's offensive at the same time.
Sometimes you don't know how much
Wait, can I
everyone
ask
is
one making.
question?
question? Mark was saying talk to people around you. I'm always fearful when you speak up in those situations. So let's say Sonny's asking me, what do you make? I'm fearful that Sonny walks into a meeting and said, well, Sarah says she makes isn't there retribution for like sharing?
There certainly can be, but is it worse than not getting the raise? And plus, let me just add this.
Yeah.
If you've been at the company for a few years, and most likely that's the foundation for you asking for a raise, right? You know what your raises have been.
Yeah.
So if you've been getting 2%, 3%, 5%, then it's okay to ask for 7%, 8%. If you're going to ask for 25 or 30, that's a mistake. Now, if you're in a
What if
talent-based
you
position,
feel like you're worth double?
well,
Yeah.
then you have to convince your boss.
You're going to need to have
Right,
a
I've
conversation
had-
with your ego and then bring it down a notch.
There's been situations where someone's walked in and I knew they were valuable to me and they went from 100 to 200 or 250 because I can't live without them. The challenge is being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Can they live without you? Yes or no?
I used to have a manager who would ask for a lot on a Friday, and then I said, they're not going to give that to me. And he'd go, well, we can always roll over on Monday.
Yeah, it's true.
So you say, I'm leaving if you don't give it to me. And then on Monday you say,
you
yeah,
can't be
she was
afraid.
kidding.
Look,
you think that's a good strategy?
And do you find that men also ask more often for more money than
Not
women
anymore.
do?
Not anymore.
Oh.
Right? No, I deal in the tech world. world, right? And it's a big issue with women and gender equality. And without question, more and more women are being aggressive and having, and not even aggressive, that's the wrong word, having the confidence to walk in. And I'll tell you what's even better. Of my Shark Tank companies, I'd say I've closed 70, probably 30, give or take 1 or 2, are run by women. And so where I'm seeing a real explosion is in women entrepreneurs. That is just exploding. And the best way to protect your own economic future is to create it yourself and go start something.
One last question. When you said don't be unreasonable, like don't come in with 100 and ask for 200, can you come in with your best research and say, you know, I want this much more, and say, but tell me what you can do if you can't do that? Is there a way to cushion it in case you're kind of
what you can say
undermining
is, look,
yourself by asking for too much?
No, what you can say is, look, I've been getting a 3% raise every year. I think I've contributed quite a bit. And this year, I'd like to ask for a 5% raise.
That's reasonable.
Knowing that if you continue to do a good job next year, right? Because it's not always about what you get right now.
It's the jump the next
Right,
time.
where are you going? Because is this a career or is this a stepping stone? And if it's a stepping stone, ask for everything knowing you can go somewhere else. If it's a career, plan for the future instead of trying to get it all right
Really
now.
quickly, I wonder if you could just tell us why you said during the break that Trump is right to hire his children.
No, I'm not saying he was right. No, what I said with Donald Trump, when I see somebody in a business and almost everybody who's in senior management is a family member, that's a real sign that they don't know how to hire, they don't know how to manage, and they don't know how to lead.
A lot of dictatorships have that too.
Well, because that's the trust factor, right?
Yes.
You don't hire based off of quality. And I'm not saying anything. Ivanka's brilliant, right? The boys are okay, but he's not. There's your gender equality, right? But he doesn't have people that have been with him a long time that are now in the White House that aren't related to him, or in his Trump companies. That's a bad sign.
He's very insular too.
And he's very insecure about it, and that's why you need family members.
All right,
to
before
protect
we
you.
go, I want to just tell people to pick up the June edition of Essence Magazine to check out Sonny's final thoughts. What does that mean, final thoughts?
I'm on the last page of the magazine, and apparently being on the last page is sort
They
of a
saved
big
the
deal.
best for last.
But what a title,
Can
final
I get your
thoughts.
autograph?
It's like you're going to die in 6
No,
months.
but it's the column
These are
is
my final
the
thoughts.
column is about this experience here at the table and
really?
how it's actually very difficult to be vulnerable and talk about your personal life, your faith, your family on national television. So,
Well, you do
but
it.
that
You
you
do
need
it
a
very
voice,
well.
and that people can use their voice
Yes, they
all
can.
around our country, and that they need to.
Okay, good. That's
great.
So pick up a copy. We'll be right back.
Later, Cougar season. Why older women should be on the prowl for younger men.
And welcome back, everyone. Tonight on 2020, Elizabeth Vargas takes you on a year-long investigation into the effects of so-called digital addiction. It airs at 10 p.m. here on ABC at 10 p.m. Eastern. And digital addiction, it is real.
It's
and
a
I
real
think
thing.
it's real for adults. It's real for children. I know so many of us struggle with it. We
When
don't
do you
have
know
a
that
phone
you're
with us.
addicted, though? When are you addicted?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Joy, because it is a subject that we've been concerned about here at this table, and I think we have some footage.
What are you looking at, Joy?
For God's sakes.
Busted.
Is that during the commercial break, or is that?
She does it
She
all
does it
the time.
all the time.
Now, which guy are you looking up on Facebook?
No,
I got a
what
lot
she's
of
looking
old
up is
boyfriends to look up.
It's either political news breaking or it's lasagna. It's recipes and the news.
And
you know
she
what?
does it on your. You do it on your watch.
But look at what I just got. Tell me if I've been hacked into. A current open
God.
position in Tennessee has opened up.
Delete
And
it. Don't open it.
I'm not opening it. People are getting this type of stuff now.
I know.
I don't. I say if you're
I'm
interested in this job, hit this.
But you see,
You see what she's focused on?
Her ringer is call me maybe, and it's gone off twice that I can recall in the last month.
Yes. So call me.
That's two problems right there.
You know, this class is getting detention.
Yes, please.
So I have to thank Mark for guest hosting with us today.
I had a blast.
You can, of course, he's on that great show, and you can check him out this fall on Shark Tank, Sunday nights here on ABC.